Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, the Nifty gained nearly 1% for the entire last week, backed by two gains, that were seen back to back on healthy days. However, it continues to remain very, very tight when it comes to the Nifty. But with the RBI policy out of the way, the focus now will actually turn to, in this truncated week of action, on the global cues and also on the Indian IT firms as they will kickstart the earnings season this time around as well. As also the focus will be on Nifty Bank as all eyes are on how soon can it be now hitting record high levels as well. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning to you, Shail. Good morning, Shail. Can you hear me? All right, I think there is some kind of a technical issue. We will try and fix that. Meanwhile, let's try and focus on the kind of cues that we have been getting early this morning. So global cues suggest that the US markets really finished higher on Friday after the strong jobs report, reinforcing that the view from the economy remains very healthy, even as it is suggested that the Federal Reserve could delay the cutting of interest rates as well. So you did see the Nasdaq climbing 1.2% higher in trade, followed by S&P 500 that was up over 1%, and 0.8% of a surge was also seen on the Dow Jones as well. Following this, we've also seen that the Asian markets were trading mixed in the early trade on Monday ahead of the central bank decisions this week, with investors also awaiting inflation numbers from the US and from China as well. When we talk about the kind of move that we've been seeing early this morning trade, Nikkei is up by 1.2%, so strong surge is being seen on that market. Kospi is up by 0.3% odd, but Hang Seng and Shanghai are doing better. Hang Seng with about 0.8% of trade on the upside. Now, as far as the trends on the GIFT Nifty are indicating, they're indicating a positive start for the broader index in India with a gain of 31 points or 0.14% of gains as of that front. As far as the flows are concerned, the FII's net bought shares worth about 1659 odd crore rupees, while the domestic institutional investors sold about 3,370 odd crore rupees worth of stocks as well. Now, apart from this, a whole host of stocks is what I'm keeping an eye out on, where you can also keep a focus on today. Wipro will be the first stock that I will be keeping an eye out on. Now, CEO Thierry Delaporte has quit late on Saturday evening, just 7 months after the company's chairman, Rishad Premji, had publicly backed him during the company's annual general meeting. Now, this resignation was at least a year before his 5-year term ended, marking another top-level exit from the company. Now, he will remain the CEO till May of 31st, 2024, and Srinivas Palila will be succeeding Delaporte as the new CEO. So there is some kind of uncertainty, but we'll continue to keep a watch on how the stock reacts to the news. Titan is going to be in focus. It's registered a revenue growth of nearly 17% from last year in the March quarter. That's as far as the business update from the company is concerned. The jewelry business was the one that actually led the show for the company in the business update, with the revenue growing by 18% as well. However, it's the eyewear segment that is seen contracting as of now. Adani Group will be in focus in trade today. The group has announced about 2.3 trillion rupees in renewable energy. So the entire energy space will be in focus from the Adani Group. And of course, they've also talked about manufacturing capacity to 2030 to increase substantially. Also, Adani Wilmar will be in focus. It's registered a double-digit volume growth in both edible oils and the food business in the March quarter. And Adani Wilmar has achieved highest ever volume growth during the quarter as well. So we'll keep an eye out on that one. Nestle is going to be in focus because the board has approved increasing royalty payment to its parent firm by 0.15% annually for the next 5 years, thereby enhancing it to 5.25% of net sales. Voltas is going to be in focus because the Tata Group company has sold 2 million units of ACs in financial year 2024. This is the company's highest ever sale in this fiscal year. Also, JSW Energy, that's going to be in focus. The company has raised 5,000 crores via qualified institutional placements and an issue price of 485 rupees per share, which is at a 5% discount to the floor price of 510 rupees per share. Another business update that's come in from the banking space. So for PNB, it's reported the total deposits at 13.7 lakh crores, up 7% year on year. And of course, apart from this, I'm also looking at Union Bank of India, where the company has reported a total deposit at 12.2 lakh crore rupees, which is up 9.3%. Shail, yours.
Good morning to all. Let's hope Chakri is with us. Mr. Lokpriya, good morning to you.
How are you?
Great to have you on market today.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Chakri, how do you see the sentiment on Dalal Street now that we are at the throes of what is the largest exercise in democracy as far as national elections are concerned? What are your clients asking you and what are you telling them?
Indeed, I think over the next couple of months, we will continue to see, fairly robust markets because A, the economic data continues to be strong, and B, there is an expected policy continuity that the investors are expecting after the elections. So in this backdrop, I think, all the new India stocks, which are all basically new sectors, defense, railways, manufacturing, capex, electronics, all these companies and sectors are likely to continue to register strong revenue growth on back of strong ordering and strong economic growth.
Okay. And how do you see this resurgence that you are watching on HDFC Bank? Of course, technically the counter looks very strong, but a lot of your foreign friends are now back into the trade as far as the long side on HDFC Bank is concerned. So Reliance is firing, HDFC Bank is firing, and probably we'll see some kind of a strong movement on the Nifty IT as well. Your views on the Nifty and of course HDFC Bank?
Yeah, in terms of Reliance Industries, clearly, the momentum is in its favor. And also a large part of its capex is done, and which will start generating revenue over the next 3 to 5 years. And that EBITDA growth will be north of 30-40%. And with that, the valuations are pretty much in check. So given that, there's a significant upside in Reliance Industries, a good 30-50% from the current levels over the next year or so. So Reliance Industries outlook is very strong. On the other hand, HDFC Bank, well-known reasons, cost of funds needs to readjust itself. The stock has kind of bottomed out in terms of its valuation, but I think pretty much it'll kind of tread water at current levels and current levels. And as far as the Nifty is concerned, I think a cyclical trade is coming back in metals, and metals valuations are on their side, and that will also support the valuations of Nifty's multiples.
Very good morning to you, Chakri. Good to have you with us on Business Today TV. As is always, as we start off this new week, all the eyes will be on the IT firms with the kind of earnings they will be reporting. But there's an even bigger update over the weekend as far as Wipro is concerned. And that's with regards to, Srinivas Palila, who will now be replacing the current CEO, that's Thierry Delaporte. Now, of course, Srinivas is probably at the helm of affairs of an unenviable task at the hand because, the revenues are at a low. We do know that operating margins are the lowest among peers for, the company as well. So the turnaround, everybody will be focusing on as to how will that be brought about. Citi has brought about a sell report on Wipro following this with the target price of 440. How should one be really approaching Wipro? And then if you could give us your overview on the IT sector apart as far as the earnings are concerned.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me. And in terms of Wipro, I think there is clearly an overhang with its CEO leaving the firm. And, it is again one of the high profile exits that we've seen from the firm. This is, of course, the highest profile exit the CEO is leaving. And so this amount of churn in the top management is likely to impact its revenue generating ability for the next few quarters and order generating ability. And therefore, we would remain on the sidelines. The only silver lining of that is, the new person coming in knows Wipro's workings and has also been the CEO of North America, which is his biggest revenue area. And so that provides some amount of comfort overall. Now, coming to the overall IT industry, I think it will be a muted quarter. The quarters, the sector as a whole has kind of bottomed out. As we reach the peak of US interest rates sometime June, and hopefully after that, whenever they start cutting, the order inflow will start hopefully turning. Orders will start turning into revenue. That is the expectation. So meanwhile, I would still stay on the sidelines and not really go into IT big time.
Okay. Apart from this, on Titan, I will ask you your view, and then I will throw to Shail. So Titan, of course, with the kind of business update that's come around, jewelry sector continues to do all the uplifting for the company and the heavy lifting for the company, whereas the eyewear segment that continues to drag on the company's balance sheet. Although the newer segments, the newer emerging segments like Taneera, they are doing well for the company as of now. With gold prices at an all-time high, we are hearing that the demand is subdued at the stores. How would you really approach Titan?
Titan is clearly the play to buy in terms of consumer demand. Consumer demand is shifting, in terms of the things that they buy. This is sustainable consumer demand. Gold they buy as jewelry. It is both an investment as well as jewelry, and it helps right from marriage season, off marriage season, etc. And so therefore, despite gold prices going high, I think there will be continued momentum in its jewelry business. Taneera, new business, doing well incrementally, and I think with the kind of volume growth that we've seen in the business, I would continue to like Titan at current levels.
Okay. Chakri, let's pay some attention to the PSU pack, and over the last 2 or 3 sessions, we've seen the re-emergence of railway stocks getting back onto the top lists of traders as also investors. Anything in the railway pack you think catches your fancy, something that can be added to the portfolio, or is the market overheated?
The market is not overheated in terms of railway stocks, but they've done their kind of bit in terms of the big runs that we've seen going up 2 times, 3 times, etc. But the order momentum is exceedingly strong. The revenue generation, turning into revenue generation, has also been exceedingly strong. And therefore, the usual suspects, Titagarh Wagons, Jupiter Wagons, IRFC, will continue to do well. There will be market outperformance, but not the multi-bagger returns that we've seen from them in the last 1 or 2 years.
Okay. We'll pay attention to the pre-open rates that are in front of us. It's a flat opening on the Nifty, 22,514 for you, just about 1.5 points lower. Let's look at the major components of the index so far. We'll the top 3 index heavyweights. Let's look at HDFC Bank first. 12 rupees higher, 1561. Remember, now the tone and the tenor on the daily chart of the Nifty changes dramatically. The stock is above the 200-day DMA. I am referring to HDFC Bank. Let's look at what Reliance is doing. At the moment, 31 points higher, 29.51. And of course, Infosys, okay, in the green, 9 rupees higher, 1488. Now, ladies and gentlemen, since all 3 index heavyweight counters are in fine shape, you will see the Nifty rejoicing, 136 points higher, 22,630. What's really essential is that if for the first 15-20 minutes, let's say for the first half an hour, if the Nifty manages to stay above 22,550, 22,600, then you have a fresh move coming in, because the operations of the Nifty 22,600 call will come into focus, and then you have the ultimate resistance at 22,800. So this is a very, very strong opening. Apart from that, let's look at what is happening in FNO. It's Voltas, 10% higher, 1355. Remember, this is the peak summer that is expected to come in. All parts of North India have already got their ACs cleaned up, and this is the summer demand that's coming in. Vodafone Idea, about 9.7% higher, 1460. The broad contours of the rights issue that is there in the market is now there, and that's the reason perhaps of this froth that's coming in. IDFC First Bank, an upgrade from a top brokerage, 82.50, 2.2% higher. Shree Cement, Berger Paints, Lupin, Titan in particular 2.5% higher, 38.46 for you. Which are the losers in FNO? Bandhan Bank. This is a problem here. The MD and CEO who piloted the IPO of Bandhan Bank has put in his papers, and the counter 10% lower, 177.65. A very quick detour at NSE 500, and then we'll take a look at what's happening in the broader markets. Rainbow Children's Medicare 10% higher, 1477. Tejas Networks 5.5% higher, 810. Indigo Paints 1% higher, 1410. You have Aster DM Healthcare 4.5% higher, 478. These are the prices that are ticking as far as the broader market is concerned. The Nifty now settling sensibly 66 points higher, 22,579. So it's going to be a good day as far as the Nifty bulls are concerned, and we'll take a view as far as Reliance is concerned from Chakri. Mr. Lokpriya, any thoughts that you have on Reliance? A lot of counters being expected to show value unlocking on this one, and a lot of brokerages being bullish at the current price. How do you see Reliance here?
Yes, Sharanji, I think, basically Reliance will do well over the next 1 year and also over the longer time frame, simply because, I think their capex is going to start turning into past capex is going to start turning into revenue over the next couple of years. The EBITDA growth will be very strong, not only their existing traditional businesses, but also their new energy business and their retail business. All of them are continuing to show increased momentum, revenue, business momentum. Against this backdrop, and if you add up the sum of the parts of Reliance valuation, the valuation points to a very strong upside, probably a good 50% upside over the medium term, and so clearly would be buyers of Reliance Industries.
Of Reliance Industries, would you also care to give us a comment on Jio Financials in the same breath with the kind of recent momentum that we have seen? How have you looked at the stock of late?
Jio Financials is extremely well placed. As its balance sheet is more than adequate, it's very strongly capitalized. This allows it to expand at a pace which is far faster than the industry growth. And in terms of avenues of opportunities of financing, there are any number which is well entrenched of the Jio Financial, that is. So given this backdrop, and then interest rates are closing to a peak in India, and so as and when interest rates start to drop, that will be an added boost, and I think Jio Financial is therefore clearly a good stock to hold at the current levels.
Okay, and anything else? So in the entire NBFC space, financial services space, a lot of updates came in last week as far as business is concerned, even of the small finance bank companies, many of them reporting robust record numbers as far as, some of the loan sanctions are concerned. How would you look at this entire space? Any top favorites from this space for you?
NBFCs as a pack will continue to do well, and they've kind of treaded water in the recent past. But if you look at their loan disbursement figures, they are very encouraging. And given that they are usually the first beneficiaries in the financial services space when interest rates start beginning to go down, and small businesses want they take out, for example, gold loans. So companies like Manappuram benefit. Then you have the small companies, individual truck operators going and taking truck financing. So Shriram Finance. So all these consumer loans. So that space, I think, will accelerate as interest rates peak.
Okay. Before we welcome Mr. Osho Krishnan, Senior Research Analyst, Technical and Derivatives of Angel One, ladies and gentlemen, I'd just like to mark silver. For the first time, silver has crossed 81,000 rupees a kilo. And for those of you who've been with us for a while, Jim Rogers, the very well-known global commodities guru, he was with us last month, and he had made his preference very clear that he prefers silver over gold if the long trade is concerned. We'll try and get that bite for you, but good time to get Osho's view in. Good morning to you, Osho. A very warm welcome on Market Today. How are you watching the index as of now and your two stock picks?
Very good morning, Shail. Well, overall, our market is looking very positive. It is having a very strong undertone, so I am expecting a bullish trend to continue in the coming period also. So overall, going through the trend, I am expecting for Nifty that 22,700 is the level where one can eye for on spot levels. And on the lower end, I am expecting a very strong support zone near the zone of 22,300 and 22,250. So the approach in the market should be buy on dips. It's a very strong market. There will be strong stock specific actions that can be seen. Now coming to the top stock picks that I have for the day is first one is from the NBFC space. Bajaj Finserv is looking very positive. It has given a breakout in the last trading session. It has been into a very strong uptrend from the past 2 to 3 trading weeks. So I'm expecting the uptrend should continue in Bajaj Finserv in the coming period. And for the higher end, I am expecting a target of nearly 1720. On the down run, the stop loss is advisable to kept at 1640 odd levels. The other counter which is looking very positive to me is from the again from a banking space. AU Small Finance Bank is looking very positive, approximately hovering around 630-35 odd levels, but I am expecting a higher target of nearly 670 on a positional basis. And for short-term traders, it is advisable to keep a stop loss of nearly 595.
Okay, a very quick view on Container Corporation from you, Osho. The stock seems to be on the verge of a breakout. Short covering happening, a lot of drop in open interest, and the price sort of reflected positivity on Friday. How are you looking at Container Corp?
See, overall, Container Corp has given a very positive movement after it surpasses and sustained the zone of 900. And even on the short-term exponential moving average, we have witnessed a positive crossover with the last day development. So I'm expecting that from here onwards, there can be a strong move that can be seen on container corporations. Approximately 965, 970 should be the first target or can be seen as the first resistance. While on the downside, 900 should be acting as a very strong support zone. So any dip, intraday dip comes towards the zone of 925 to 928 should be auguring very well for the bulls even for today's session, and I am expecting approximately 2 to 3% on the higher end from 1 to 2 days kind of a time frame.
Okay, Chakri, we were speaking to you about the entire jewelry space, the gold financing space, and gold has hit 71,000 per 10 grams on the MCX for the first time, as also silver is at an all-time high level right now. How would you really play the entire gold story? Is it better to play the jewelers or is it better to play the gold financing names? How would you do that selection?
I would do both. Both companies like Manappuram, valuations are on their side. There is this added benefit that, because as the economy recovers, there is a need for greater amount of gold loans. Small businesses, individual traders, individual business people, they go and take out gold loans for various reasons. And so that volume growth will pick up. Second, on the other hand, jewelry spend as a part of a consumer preference in terms of their spending, because lately you've seen that the consumer spend is very targeted and focused, not various products. Jewelry as a segment continues to be very strong and I think will remain strong.
Okay, Osho, would you like to take a pick and as far as this entire space is concerned, in terms of specific stock ideas, where should one technically keep an eye out on?
See, overall, Titan is looking very positive. It is having a very strong resistance near the zone of 3820, 3850 or 3820 to 3830 odd levels. But the time it surpasses or sustains above 3800 odd levels, then we can witness a good move in Titan in the coming period. It is having a very strong consolidation zone and hovering above all the exponential moving average for now. But I am expecting in the coming period, there can be a strong run that can be seen in Titan. For immediate basis, the immediate swing high, which is approximately 3880 odd levels, should be the first target for short-term traders. But surpassing those levels, there can be another rally of 150 to 200 odd points.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty settled 64 points higher at 22,577. Let's take a detour to what the defense space is doing. Absolutely no surprises here. Cochin Shipyard, 2385 higher as far as prices are concerned, and there's a change in digit. It's now above 1100. Needless to say, this is a record opening, 1105. Mazgaon Docks, 11 rupees higher, 2211. And of course, we have HAL, 14 rupees higher, 3600. Coming to you, Osho, your views on power producers. We've seen peak power demand rise 12% in India in the current month over last year. Given the indications that we are going to have a very, very hot summer, how do you see power producers? Which is your top pick here?
The majority, all the power sector are looking very positive. If on the technical chart, overall, the overall undertone of the market, as I have mentioned, is very positive. So mainly the power companies are also looking very nice. Coming to the some of the power companies which has given a breakout in the recent period is Adani Power, which has given a breakout from the zone of nearly 580, which I have discussed in the previous conversation also. For me, the target was approximately 635. And from now, there can be some kind of correction or breather, profit booking that can be seen. But 615 to 620 is the apt level where one could again look to accumulate this counter. Immediate target again remains around 635, 638. But the time it surpasses the 638 zone, then from here onwards, I am expecting another 2 to 3% kind of a rally in Adani Power. But other counters like Power Grid, NTPC, these are also looking very positive. But on a gradual move, gradual basis, there can be a strong move in the coming periods.
Okay, Adani Power, ladies and gentlemen, is within the 5% circuit ambit. Therefore, not much of volatility is expected on this on a regular basis. Nevertheless, a record high on Adani Power as also JSW Energy. Coming to you, Mr. Lokpriya, your favorite power stock?
My favorite power stock, actually now looking at the whole power space is looking good. And given that power demand is so strong, I think transmission and distribution as a space is the next space which will now gather momentum. Skipper is one of the largest player in India, one of the largest player globally. Valuations are on its side. Revenue momentum will be, north of 15%. Earnings growth will be far much higher. Valuations are on its side. And of course, the power financiers, REC, Power Finance will continue to do well.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we'll do.
Chakri, just wanted to take one view on Voltas, a very strong surge coming in on this one, 6% higher. The company has recorded highest ever AC sales in FY24. Since we're talking about the summer theme, how would you look at this stock?
Voltas clearly is, I would buy Voltas for the simple reason that, the volume growth has come back. It's held by a strong AC demand. The company was losing market share. Now there are signs that, that is bottoming out and it's developing traction. Given that, you think, and the valuations are largely okay, they're around the 30-35 times. So as revenue growth that comes in, the margins will expand. So I would buy Voltas.
Okay. Well, the markets have opened 0.3% of an uptick on the Nifty. Shail, please go ahead.
Okay. The Nifty is 60 points higher, 22,570. A bit of a flat opening on the Nifty Bank as well, and the IT index. I'd like to look at the IT index for the rest of the day because we've seen a very, very strong breakout happening on some of those NASDAQ stocks. 79 points higher, 35,320 for you. And we have the NSE 500, 86 points higher, 20,800. Let's look at how the top three stocks are behaving. Reliance at the moment is 1260 higher, 2932. HDFC Bank is a crucial component, 5.5 rupees higher at 1555.25. How about Infosys, 9 rupees higher, 1488. These are the top three stocks as far as the index heavyweight is concerned, and all 10 stocks as far as the weightage is concerned are in the green. So it's going to be a nice green day as far as the Nifty is concerned. Let's drill down into what the markets are doing. I just like to see how Bandhan Bank is reacting. Remember, the CMD and managing director has resigned, and that's not playing well as far as the stock is concerned. Bandhan Bank 8% lower, 180.25. Apart from that, let's look at the top gainers in the NSE 500. Taking it away is Voltas, a breakout 8% higher, 1330. Remember, a scorching summer means good tidings for Voltas. Let's also look at how Blue Star is doing. Let's look at how also Symphony is doing. These are 2 or 3 stocks which are related to the same space, and they should also be in the green. Blue Star, of course, is the leader in how should I say, commercial air conditioning, 2.5% higher, 1393. What we'll also do is take a detour into the FNO space beyond the index heavyweights. Let's look at where the action is in terms of volume. Idea Cellular is the second most active traded counter, 1.1% higher, 13.5. Wipro is in pain, 0.5% lower, 44.84. Remember, there's a change in the helm. This is the third change in the last 12 years as far as the CEO is concerned. IDFC First Bank 1.5% higher, 81.8. Vedant about 1% higher, 322. Let's touch base with Osho. Osho, anything that catches your fancy? It's a flat opening, nevertheless in the green.
Counters like from IT space, there Naukri has given a very strong breakout in today's session, but it has already surged approximately 5% for now. So I would be expecting that this will continue, because on the higher end, the immediate or next potential target that one can see is 61.25. So that is the immediate target that one can look on InfoEdge or Naukri. But looking at the overall momentum that it has gained, one should definitely wait for another half hour or maybe 1 hour, so that the counter cools off near the zone of 5900, 5850, and that will be giving a very strong levels to accumulate for a higher target. So from IT space, some of the counters are looking positive. First of all was the Naukri. Second is Emphasis is on the verge of giving a breakout. So I'm expecting in the coming time we can witness a strong move in Emphasis also, currently hovering around 2500, and I'm having a target of nearly 2640 to 2650 in the coming period. So this counter looks very positive, and one should definitely track it in the coming period.
Okay. Let's look at some of the other stocks and sectors that are buzzing in trade. Consumer durables is the space which is in action, of course, led by the entire show on Voltas, and a whole host of other stocks that are pulling up in trade as well. So stocks like Blue Star, Cera Sanitaryware, Whirlpool, you have V-Guard. These are the kind of stocks that are actually buzzing in trade. Even Havells is moving up in trade as of now. And apart from this, it's also the real estate space that continues to show strong showing as well. Chakri, first to you on the real estate space. We've seen Godrej Properties, record, sales. I think 3,000 odd crore rupees worth of homes they have sold in Haryana, in Gurugram. How would you really look at this entire space that's constantly buzzing with news of luxury homes being sold out in 1 day, 2 days, and record sales being seen in the residential space?
Yeah, indeed. The real estate space, I think, well, the stocks have done well, but I think it will continue to do well because all the 3 or 4 commercial, residential as well are all picking up, and for as the economy recovers. Prestige real estate, has a good exposure both to commercial, residential as well, and also it has some exposure to which there's some amount of value unlocking in their hospitality space. So when you do the sum of the parts, I think there is a valuation advantage there.
Okay. Osho, any real estate stock that you like, technically speaking?
Godrej Property has given the breakout, else other companies are on the verge of giving a breakout or might be seen as at a very strong resistance zone. But Godrej Property with today's session or yesterday's session has given a very strong positive momentum, and today it has given a follow-up buying. So I am expecting that this should continue in the coming period. But on the higher end, if it sustains above the zone of 25.10, 25.20 by another half or 1 hour, then I would be expecting another a rally of approximately 1.5%, near about 25.60, 25.70 kind of a levels for the day. But overall trend seems very positive. It has given a breakout on the daily time frame. So overall primary trend remains very bullish, and one should definitely try to gauge momentum in the coming days.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty in the first 7 odd minutes is holding on to its modest gains. What it has done is that it's tested 22,550, which is the intraday low for today. Let's see how it goes, and the high is 22,590. Of course, any buying on the long side will happen only after 22,600 is breached and it remains there or above 22,600 for the next 15-20 minutes. Now let's look at stocks that are making new highs. As far as all-time highs in the Nifty 500 is concerned, you have Thermax 3% higher, 46.56. You have a strong move coming in Tata Steel, 1.3% higher, 165.55. And stocks such as Cochin Shipyard we will not be discussing, I am just marking them. Geofin and Zomato are also at record highs. Sundaram Finance is at a record high, 44.08, 2.6% higher. And in terms of volume buzzers, stocks that are surging on volume, this is very interesting. Adani Ports, 2% lower, about 81 lakh shares have been traded so far, and the counter is at about 1347. Bandhan Bank, we already know this, 2 crore shares have been traded, minus 6%. Voltas is circuit 10% higher, about 91% of its 5-day volume is done. Nykaa, Naukri and Aster DM are also stocks that are moving with a lot of volume as also price action. Let's get Osho into the view. Osho, would you have a view on Geo Finance?
See, basically Geo Finance is into a very strong cycle of higher highs, higher lows. Although there is less of technical data, but overall looking at the charts that I have, it's looking very positive. There has been no looking back in this counter. Any dip that comes towards the zone of 21 exponential moving average on the daily time frame augurs very well for this counter. So I'm expecting the trend to continue for a higher targets of nearly 390 to 400 odd levels, while on the downside the risk reward is not quite favorable because the 21 exponential moving average is now around the zone of 348 350 levels. So risk reward is not favorable, but the trend is positive. There has been a strong traction in this counter, so one should definitely stay intact with the trend and continue trailing their profits on the higher end. 390.95 should be the target that one can expect in the coming period.
Okay.
The Nifty, ladies and gentlemen, is now close to 22,600. We've seen the first resistance taken out, 22,560 as with the bulls, and the second resistance is at 22,602. Since we are at the beginning of the week, and of course remember this is a truncated week because Thursday is a holiday, let's look at the 22,600 call which expires on 10th of April. 96.50 for you. Osho, what is your view? Would you take a long side view on 22,600 or is it too early?
See, for now it might be early because overall there has been positive movement, but one should wait for another half hour or 1 hour to get a very strong to continue with the strong phenomena on the higher end. But definitely undertones is bullish, and I am expecting that any dip comes towards the zone of 22,540 to 520 odd levels should be auguring very well for the buyers. While on the higher end, another set of rally above 22,620 or 22,640 odd levels can give a strong boost, because on derivative data we have seen some scattered piling. There has not been very decisive piling, but a scattered piling has been seen on the call writers from 22,500 towards 22,800. So I'm expecting that there will be a series of resistance that can be seen, but positive development is on the lower end. 22,500 has the strongest put writing position. So any dip comes towards 22,550, 520 odd levels should be auguring very well for the buyers, and then one should be very much aggressive. On the higher end, once it crosses the zone of 22,500 620, 630 on the spot levels, then one should again be aggressive on the higher end.
Okay. Well, Chakri, let me draw your attention to all the internet-based stocks. Info Edge, that's moving up very strongly, and this is after the business update that the company reported 826 odd crore rupees as far as standalone billing is concerned, 3.5% uptick as far as the Q4 billings are concerned. But apart from this, even stocks like Nykaa and Zomato have been constantly on an uptrend now. Nykaa has said that in the January to March quarter, they expect high 20s in terms of the revenue growth. They've already reported GMV of high 30s as well. Do you think worse now behind for some of these companies?
InfoEdge is clearly looking good. They will benefit from the hiring is picking up in the IT industry as well as the non-IT industry. In terms of IT industry, even the revenue growth has been muted, but given that their order book has been strong, the hiring was weak a couple of quarters ago. Now it is all picking up, and that will clearly benefit Naukri.com and which is part of InfoEdge. And therefore, the company is well positioned in that space. As far as the Nykaa is concerned, I think it's done a fair bit well as a stock, and it's kind of run up, so I wouldn't really chase it. But that as a space is looking nice.
Okay. Osho, would you like to comment as far as technical charts suggest? Any chart that you look at positively right now, an indication of a positive momentum sustaining?
Sorry, can you tell me the name of the counters that you were
So we were
discussing?
discussing the new age tech stocks. Maybe you can give us a view on Zomato and Nykaa both.
Okay, for Zomato, I was having a very bullish view in Zomato because it has given a breakout around the levels of nearly 170, 175. But from here onwards, one should not be very much complacent. Technically, it has reached the zone of overbought territory. So from here onwards, firstly, this is an indicator where one should try to book their profits. And secondly, 200 being the psychological mark can put some kind of resistance in the counter. So I'm expecting that within the range of 190 to 200, there can be some kind of consolidation. And in future, if there will be any dip comes towards the zone of 170 to 165, then one should definitely try to enter in this counter. Now coming to Nykaa, Nykaa I don't track usually, but in last two sessions has given a very strong breakout, I guess. Looking on technical developments, it has seen a double bottom pattern breakout. So I'm expecting on the higher end, the target comes around the zone of 178, 180 odd level. So 180 is the zone where which is the technical target for this counter, which it is already hovering. But definitely try to ride with the trend. On the lower end, approximately the bullish gap which it has made in today's session, 170 should be kept as the stop loss, and on the higher end, until the trend continues, one should try to ride the higher momentum. On immediate basis, 185 should be the next resistance that can be seen as the first target for those who enter at current levels.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have 22,600 on the charts. This is, of course, the Nifty, 91 points higher. Let me just show you the stocks that are pulling the index higher. And of course, no surprises there. Two of the three index heavyweights, Reliance in the green, 1.3% higher. And 34 points out of 86 in the green are because of Reliance. Infosys 0.6% higher. 8 points contributing on the long side. You have Axis Bank, L&T and Power Grid contributing between 3 and 7 points respectively. At the moment, the resistance at 22,602 is providing a very, very strong, how should I say, resistance for the Nifty to move up. And HDFC Bank, not in the pink of health, down about 0.25%. Not to worry because the stock has rallied very sharply. Its contribution is a negative 5 points. Overall, the Nifty Bank is also 26 points lower, 48,470. I'd like to mark Naukri.com. This is one of the top gainers in the FNO space. 6,085. This is the highest that we've seen since November of 2021, and a very strong move coming here on very heavy volumes. Osho, would you want to take a view on this one? Already about 3,37,000 shares have been traded.
Yes, Naukri is looking very positive. It was approximately 5% higher when I firstly tracked it, but 61.20, 61.50 was the zone where I'm expecting a decent consolidation in the counter. Overall trend seems very bullish because on daily time frame it has given a flat kind of a pattern breakout. So from here onwards on positional basis the target is bit higher towards 62.50, 6300, but for the day I am expecting 6100 should be acting as the resistance zone, and on any dips towards 59.50, 5900 should be arguing well for this counter. So one should definitely try to gauge momentum from a short to medium term time frame. Overall counter has given a very strong breakout. As you have mentioned, the volume has also picked up very strongly in the first 15-20 minutes, so there can be strong momentum in the coming time also. So one should track it and try to gauge momentum once there is any kind of dip towards 59.50, 5900.
Okay, we'll take a detour into the broader markets, ladies and gentlemen. At the moment, the advanced decline is totally in favor of bulls on Dalal Street. About 1431 shares are in the green compared with just 534 in the red. We tracked 19 indices for you. Out of 19, 17 are in the green, led by the Nifty Realty Index 1.6% higher, 952. Out of the 10 stocks making this index, 9 are in the green. The Nifty Energy Index, no surprise here, 1% higher, 39,871, and 10 out of 10 stocks are in the green. The metals index is shining 0.6% higher. We'll go into the broader space. NSE 500, 0.5% higher. Out of 500, 353 shares are in the green. In the NSE 200, 131 shares are in the green. In the small cap 100 index, about 71 stocks are in the green. The index a third of a percent higher. And the mid cap index, 55 out of 100 shares are in the green. The index crossing 52,000, 50,200. Sakshi.
Okay, let's also again revisit Voltas. It's now hit a 10% upper circuit. Remember, we've been discussing this entire summer theme since last week. We'd also done a top 5 summer stocks for all our viewers, and among them the top stock that was discussed by Hemang Jani on our show was Voltas, following which we also spoke to Devin Choksi, who again gave a positive remark as far as Voltas is concerned, and the rally is being sustained. We've also discussed it with both of our guests today as well. So keep looking at such stocks that are being talked about on the show, and they are showing momentum as well, both as fundamental and technical views we continue to get for all of our viewers. You know, oil and gas space is in the buzz. Chakri, I want to understand from you, how are you looking at the gas names particularly? You know, IGL, MGL, GAIL, the way their momentum has sustained thus far, but how much more steam is left in this space?
You know, GAIL probably has valuations on its side, and so some amount of momentum, but the other stocks have kind of run up, and there's some amount of back and forth in terms of the regulations are concerned. So there are enough other stocks that are attractive enough. So I'm staying away from the rest of the space.
Okay. Would you go ahead with the OMC names at least? I mean, with the kind of re-rating we've seen here, and again, all three of them are upward bound. We're again seeing some kind of nerves being settled around the crude oil prices.
You know, again, with oil reaching new highs, a recovery in oil prices and etc., and election results are just a month or two away. I would stay away from OMCs.
Okay. What about you, Osho? Technically speaking, how is this entire oil and gas space looking? And in any case, if you could give us your top 2 names?
See, from gas counters, there has been a strong rally that can be seen majorly in IGL, MGL. But I am looking on Gujarat Gas for the timing, because it has been into a consolidation zone near about 21-day exponential moving average for an entire week. And with today's momentum, there has been a strong upside, approximately 2.5%. It has already rallied, which is giving a hint of a consolidation breakout in this counter. So from here onwards, there can be approximately 20 points of up move that can be seen in Gujarat Gas. So 580, 585 should be the target in Gujarat Gas. overall many counters are looking positive. Even if I talk about MGL, after a very long duration, it has given a very strong recoup from the 100 exponential moving average, consolidated near 21-day EMA, and in the last two sessions, on the back of volume, has given a positive movement. So I'm expecting MGL can also perform very well, but 1500 should be acting as the first resistance. So for the short-term traders, one should definitely try to gauge momentum, but for the targets of 1500.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the entire oil and gas space is concerned. A lot of buzzing names here from this basket of stocks. Of course, Indraprastha Gas is the one that's been leading the gas space, 4% higher right now. GAIL, Gujarat Gas, Mahanagar Gas, they're all up and about. Even GSPL, the stocks from the crude oil basket. I mean, like the upstream names. You have Oil India, you have Reliance Industries, ONGC. All of them constantly buzzing in action, as also is the entire OMC space as well. If we look at the kind of move that we are also looking at the metal space, since we've been discussing a lot of commodities, Chakri, your view on the metal action, the way it has panned out, because this space is very interesting. One, it is cyclical. Two, institutions largely stay away from it, but the kind of rally that interests retail investors, how would you advise those retail investors to approach this?
You're right, it's a cyclical space, and cyclically, globally, metals as a space has not done well simply because the economies were weak. Now, with the reaching of peak of interest rates globally, I think metals as a space, there you will see increased demand. We've already seen commodities like copper, etc., start moving up. Jindal Steel and Power, a company which is backward and forward integrated, will see strong demand. The companies will enjoy the benefit of its captive power plant, its coal mines, and plus this value-added steel products that it is selling. It trades at about probably 5 times EV/EBITDA, so the valuations are on that side. Given that its balance sheet is recovering and is actually fairly strong, Jindal Steel and Power looks good.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are now at 9:39. The first about 15 to 20 minutes of trade has happened, and the Nifty is now comfortably above 22,600, which essentially means the call that we had highlighted, the 22,600 Nifty call expiring on April 10th, is now in the money. Remember, I had marked it at 96 rupees. It is now at 110, 111 rupees. If the index stays above 22,600 for the next 15-20 minutes, then of course the resistance that was at 22,600 will turn into a support, and then we'll see a further uptick as far as the index is concerned in price. Why is this possible? All that you have to do is look at the advanced decline on the Nifty. If you look at the index itself, it is now 100 points higher. The first century is there in front of you, and the Nifty 50 has 41 shares in the green out of the 50 that we track. So this is a positive development. Let's see whether 22,600 holds, and with that in mind, you have to keep the 22,600 Nifty call as far as prices are concerned on the long side. Let's look at stocks within the Nifty that are making a record high. That will give you an idea as to what the market is thinking in terms of where momentum is. Just a moment, I'll just share those names with you. As far as the Nifty is concerned, the all-time highs are Tata Steel and M&M, 165.50 on Tata Steel and about 1.3% higher on M&M, 20,040 as far as prices are concerned. Osho, to you, would you chase momentum in Tata Steel and M&M, or would you stay away?
See, for M&M, I will definitely try to gauge the momentum because it has given a very strong breakout in the recent period. 1980, 1990 was the zone where it has given the breakout, and it has sustainably remained on the higher end for the last 2 trading sessions. So I'm expecting the trend should continue on the higher end. 2070 is the target that one can expect in M&M for the time being. And looking at the overall momentum, it is looking very positive. The time it has opened, the market has opened, it has seen a very positive traction in this counter. So I'm expecting another 30 points of rally that can be seen in M&M. Now coming to Tata Steel being one of the major heavyweight from the steel counter, and looking at the recent development in the last 4 trading sessions, it has sustained on the higher levels, but the volume has constantly on the declining phase. So I'm not very much or strongly bullish in Tata Steel. Yes, the trend is very positive, but I will rather wait for some kind of dip in Tata Steel to go long for a short-term perspective. But on the other end, Jindal SAW is looking very positive to me. It has given a breakout in last 2-3 trading sessions and has sustained around the zone of 500. So I'm expecting a decent move in the coming period for Jindal SAW. 540 is the target that I'm expecting that it should test in the coming 1 to 2 trading sessions. So one should definitely try to gauge momentum in Jindal SAW.
Okay. The stock that I'd like to mark now is Havells. Osho, staying with you. A drop in open interest, sectoral theme working in your favor, and the counter is up 2%, a whisker short of an all-time high. What are your views on Havells?
It's very bullish. One should definitely try to gauge momentum. Looking at the momentum that we have seen recently in this counter, and even the counterparts like Voltas has seen a very strong rally. So I am expecting that it should also witness some strong movement in the coming period. On the immediate basis, the recent swing high of 1588, 1590 is the first resistance, followed by 1600, because these are a very strong psychological mark. So I always believe that psychological marks provide some kind of resilience in the market, but overall once it surpasses the zone, then we can witness a strong V-shaped movement in this counter, and from there onwards we can definitely witness another leg of rally in Havells.
Okay, well, the markets are at record high levels. Sensex is at 74,634. The Nifty is crossed the earlier record high of 22,619, and the mid-cap index is also at a record high level of 50,200. Chakri, to you. For anyone who's largely been out of the markets for the last 1 year odd, if somebody wants to invest afresh at these record levels, what is the best way to approach the markets at record levels?
Manufacturing capex as theme is actually picking up simply because, so far it's been government infra push. So given that, capex, you see the real estate as a space also is picking up. So which means, companies in that space which supply to that industry, they'll all do well. Companies like, for example, JTL Infra, high-tech pipes, they support both the construction industry as well as industrial industry. So I think the broader market will continue to do well going into the next 12 months.
Okay. Osho, which stocks would you really bet big on as markets hit record high? 2 or 3 stocks that investors can now start building positions in, positionally speaking, if you can give us those stocks.
Firstly, HDFC Bank is looking very positive to me. It has seen a very strong dip. It has started recouping from the lows and currently hovering around 200-day SMA. The time it surpasses the zone, there can be some strong move, but being a heavyweight, I'm expecting a gradual up move in the counter. So this is one of the counter which one should definitely try to gauge the momentum. The other one is from the IT space. Another large cap company, Infosys, is at a very strong support zone near about 1480, 1490 is the zone where it is hovering, which is indicating technically it is on the oversold territory and also hovering around the 200-day SMA. So I'm expecting that from here onwards there can be strong momentum or gradual momentum, not very strong momentum, but gradual upside momentum that can be seen in Infosys. So these two are from the heavyweights that one should definitely try to put there in the portfolio, followed by AU Small Finance Bank. I am having a very bullish approach in AU Bank, so one should definitely try to give some portion to AU Bank in their portfolios, because it has the tendency, being the high beta, to give a very strong recovery and give a very strong ROI in the coming period.
Okay, 3 stocks: HDFC Bank, Infosys, AU Small Finance Bank. Chakri, what would you go with if you were to suggest a stock to somebody at this record level in markets?
Can I pick a stock outside that levels? I would look at the broader market, but HDFC Bank I'd stay away from.
Okay, your share.
Okay, let's look at how prices are moving, and I hesitate to mark this sector. because it's been in a disappointment way for quite a while. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the Nifty FMCG index. A lot of index heavyweights within the FMCG space are moving up sharply. And what's really interesting is that the index itself is moving out of a cluster of moving averages. 54,175 for you as far as the FMCG index is concerned. Nothing major in terms of percentage rise, but a lot of index components such as Hindustan Unilever, such as Marico 517.70, and to some extent even Dabur showing an activity on the green side within the FNO space. Let's look at the FMCG sector here and point out some interesting trends for you. Let's look at the FMCG sector. Okay, Godrej Consumer Products is 4.6% higher. Osho, coming to you directly on Godrej Consumer Products, not a counter that we check a lot of times, but 4% higher, and it's accompanied by a very sharp surge in open interest. Does it interest you? 1270.
See, from FMCG space, I have currently only two counters in my radar. One is Tata Consumer, the other one is Godrej CP, because these two are only in the positive trend. Else, every counters from the FMCG space into a corrective phase. So, for short-term perspective, yes, both the counters are looking very positive. For Godrej CP, 1280 is a very strong resistance. Yes. So, I would be waiting for it to cross the zone of 1280 on a closing basis. So I will be bullish in this counter maybe tomorrow if it closes above 1280, because that has historically proven a very strong resistance, and there has been a halt in the uptrend, and from there onwards we can witness some kind of consolidation. So I'll be waiting for in this counter. But other counter which is looking very positive from the FMCG is Tata Consumer. It is just on the verge of consolidation. Breakout 1135.36 on spot levels is from where I can witness a very strong trigger in this counter. So one should definitely keep a strong watchful on this counter. On the lower end, 1110, 1108 should be kept as a stop loss. On the higher end, the time it surpasses the zone of 1135.36, we can witness 20 to 25 point of rally for intraday, and for positional basis, we can have a target of nearly 12.
Okay, and the theme within the FMCG sector has been vitiated to some extent by Nestle, which has announced that it will be raising the royalty that it pays to its parent by 15 basis points each year for the next 5 years, and that is sort of lying heavy on the sentiment as far as Nestle is concerned. Coming to you, Chakri. Within the FMCG space, anything that catches your fancy on the long side, or is this something that you are avoiding?
Tata Consumer looks very strong. The company, is focused on urban demand expanding out into the tier 2 cities as well. As a space, they will benefit both from organic and inorganic growth. I think with summer also coming in, I think we will see Tata Consumer revenue growth to be revised upwards.
Okay, right. So last 10 minutes on the show, we will try and look at some more stock ideas where we can take views from our experts. The auto space, I wanted to take your view on, Chakri, especially the two-wheeler stocks. Finally, in the last quarter, some of the last months, we did see upticks coming in for in terms of sales and in terms of the worries getting behind in terms of the semiconductor issues, the volume demand as well. How are you looking at two-wheelers versus the large caps, which are constantly hitting record highs, both Tata Motors, Maruti, M&M? In terms of that, relative to that, how should one be really playing the two-wheeler space?
Auto as a space is doing well, and two-wheelers is doing better. And therefore, the auto ancillary space will also benefit from this move, and that's where we are focused on now. While we still continue to remain invested in TVS Motors, we really like that stock. So we think it'll do really well. Companies like Timken, which provide bearings to the auto industry, Schaeffler, they benefit not just from auto demand, but also from industrial demand. And I think both these spaces are recovering very fast and will continue to accelerate.
Okay. Technically speaking, Osho, would you also have a pick from the auto space where you may be finding some kind of momentum?
See, from two-wheeler space, the counter is into a consolidation phase for the time being. Hero Motor, TVS Motor, both has been on a primary uptrend, but has seen some kind of profit booking or consolidation in the short term. So overall, one should wait if have a momentum trade, then because in the coming period, I'm expecting TVS Motor to have an outperformance. Nearly 2120 is the immediate resistance zone. Once it surpasses the zone, which is a sloping trend line for TVS Motor, then we can witness a momentum in this counter. Overall, the space is positive, but technically there has been some kind of cool off from after the recent development of bullish trend. So that is considered to be healthy. One should stay watchful in these counters. The time it gives a breakout, they should definitely try to gauge momentum.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Reliance Industries that is now hogging all the limelight, 1.7% higher as far as the Nifty is concerned. As far as the stock is concerned, on the Nifty is the top mover and the top contributor right now as far as the Nifty is in momentum. And Chakri, we began the discussion with you as far as Reliance Industries is concerned. So 2968, for any fresh investor, what would you advise on Reliance? For somebody who has a 3 to 5 year horizon, how would you really look at the Reliance story unfolding?
Reliance Industries as a company will do well both, I think, in the short term, medium term, and the long term. It's a company which has kind of evolved into so many spaces, so it benefits not only from its traditional business of oil and gas, retail, telecom, new energy. And if you add up all the sum of parts with the potential that for the longer term investor, when there is value unlocking, will benefit from this unlocking of all its other businesses such as retail and new energy. So I think clearly Reliance Industries is a investment for the long term as well as for the medium term.
Okay, I'd like to mark Engineers India. This is something that's running away very rapidly. Before the numbers change even more dramatically, Osho, would you want to take a cue on what's happening on Engineers India? 229 for you, fairly strong volume on a lot of my indicators, 43 crores worth of transactions. Your view on Engineers India?
See, Engineers India is having a resistance near the zone of 232. The time it surpasses 232, then from there onwards we can have a very strong view in this counter, but overall it has seen a very strong rebound. Also a sloping trend line breakout has happened, but after that for the last 4 to 5 trading sessions there has been a strong consolidation near the zone of 220 odd level. So I am expecting in the coming time, once it breach and sustain above the zone of 232, then from there onwards we can witness another 15 to 18 point of rally in Engineers India, while on the downside 210 should be auguring well for the immediate buyers. So 210 is buy on dips and 232 is where one should try to book their profits.
Okay, we're just 5 minutes away from ending this morning wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nifty is still holding to 22,600. So the call that we had highlighted remains in play. Apart from that, let's look at in the FNO space, stock futures that are doing pretty well apart from what's happening in the Nifty. We've discussed Voltas and Naukri. We have a strong move coming into Indus Stars, 4% higher, 328. As far as all other price gainers are concerned, Muthoot Finance is something that one needs to look at. Record highs here, and Osho, Sakshi and Mr. Chakri Lokpriya have mentioned that these are good things to look at as far as the long trade is concerned because of the very strong momentum that's coming into gold. What's on the profit booking side? Bandhan Bank 6% lower, no surprise here. City Union Bank down 3% at 153.85. Bit of a profit booking happening on Punjab National Bank, 3% lower, 133.25. Adani Ports falling on fairly heavy volumes. Let's just say it's profit booking 1.6% lower, 1356. Oracle Finance down 1.6%. National Aluminium, Apollo Hospitals, and Emphasis Futures are down between 1.4 and 1.5% respectively. I think the other stock that needs mention and is doing phenomenally well is IRB Infra at about 173 rupees. I'm so sorry, at 73 rupees 10 paisa. It's rallying for the fourth day in a row. Your view, Osho, on IRB Infra? I would imagine this is a record high. Yes, it is.
I was just looking at the same charts of IRB Infra when we were talking about it. So it has given a breakout around the zone of 70 in today's session, and if I'll be talking about the volumes in last two sessions, it has been notable very high from the average trading volume. So I'm expecting that this momentum should continue, but overall it has surged approximately 8%, but again given a very strong breakout around the zone of 70, now I'm expecting that 69.70 should be acting as the support zone, while on the higher end the immediate targets or immediate next potential target that one can expect is approximately of 76 in IRB Infra. Overall this is just a short term target, but overall the momentum is very strong, and I am expecting a very decent up move in the coming period because it has seen a very strong recovery from the lows of nearly 58, 60 odd level. So from here onwards there can be strong move of nearly 15 to 20 kind of a point. So 85 to 90 is the target that one can look in short to medium term time frame.
Okay. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we've also seen another milestone being achieved. The BSE listed company's market cap has crossed 400 lakh crores for the very first time. So with that, the momentum continues as far as the street is concerned. Chakri, to you, last word on the show. As far as the momentum in the markets is concerned, FY25 has begun on a strong note for sure. Where do you see the markets headed from here? Are we going to be seeing a $5 trillion market cap for Indian stock markets, much ahead of the economy really achieving that feat?
I hope so. And I clearly, everything is in its favor in terms of, the economy is picking up, GDP growth is strong, will get faster. Whenever interest rates come down, it will further accelerate. Jobs are picking up. So therefore, broader market, actually, I think will continue to do really well over the next 12, 18 months, and we'll hit the milestone hopefully sooner rather than later.
Okay, well, on that note, thank you so much, Chakri, and thank you so much, Osho, for being with us on this very special edition and sharing with us all the strategies and the stocks that you've had to share with all our viewers. Many thanks for joining us on the show. We'll start wrapping up the markets for this edition right now. About 0.3% of an uptick on the Nifty, 22,591 is where we see. It's the Nifty Bank that is now seeing profits being taken off, 0.09% of a dip coming in. So that's the index that's in the red, 48,450 currently on the Nifty Bank. But it's the realty space that is in very high momentum, 2% and more higher on that one. Consumer durables up and about 1.5% higher. Oil and gas, autos, FMCG, mid and the small caps, they continue to soar higher. What's on the dragging front? It's the Nifty Bank that slipped, and within this, PSU banks, private banks, and the financial services are also looking weak, starting to look weak as of now. The IT index also just about flat with a negative bias as of now. On the Nifty, you have stocks like Reliance Industries, that's definitely pulling the index higher, 2964 currently for this one. Tata Consumer Products, M&M, BPCL, Power Grid, Axis Bank, Bajaj Finserv. These are the stocks that are actually doing very well as far as the markets are concerned. On the downside, however, you have Adani Ports that's dragging 2% lower. Apollo Hospitals, Wipro, Adani Enterprises, Titan, Coal India, Bajaj Auto, and HDFC Bank that are looking weak as far as the Nifty is concerned. On the F&O action, it's Voltas that tops the charts, 9.5% higher in trade info. It follows Godrej Consumer, Muthoot Finance, and you also have Godrej Properties and Gujarat Gas. These are the stocks that are in momentum as of now. We'll wrap it up at that, but do stay tuned on to Business Today TV as many interesting conversations will follow. We will continue to bring you many many videos where you can understand what is the tone, tenor and the flavor of the markets and where exactly should you be putting in money at record high markets to make more money for yourself. Many thanks for tuning in onto this special.
After a detailed assessment of the evolving macroeconomic and financial developments and the outlook, the Reserve Bank MPC decided by a majority of 5-1 to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 6.5%. Consequently, the standing deposit facility, that is the SDF, rate remains at 6.25%. and the marginal standing facility, that is the MSF rate, remains at 6.25%.